We are back with the League of the Genuine Conversations. This is a conversation with a difference. We are out of Mbale City in eastern Uganda. We are here as part of a baseline study, a knowledge, attitudes, and practices study of a project that we are doing with the USAID on Feed the Future. They call it Feed the Future. Inclusive agricultural markets activity. This basically looks at the practices, the attitudes that inform the selling, the buying of genuine or fake agro inputs. I would like to take this opportunity to welcome you back from the Easter holiday. We hope you had a counterfeit-free Easter. We at the SCN think that you should not be consuming counterfeits during the holidays and for the rest of the year. For those who are joining us for the first time, this is the only show on the planet where we discuss the big subject of counterfeits. To join me in the discussion today is my new friend now, Caroline Kayinza. You're welcome to the show. We are basically a platform that helps to sensitize and bring awareness about counterfeits and fakes. Okay. And you are a senior community development officer for Sironko district. Sironko Town Council. So can you tell the viewers what you do as a senior community development officer?
Yeah. Thank you very much, sir. I'm Kayinza Caroline Pepera. I'm the Senior Community Development Officer, Sironko Town Council, Sironko District. My key outputs are mobilization and sensitization of the community on development issues, gender mainstreaming. We do networking with the NGOs, like our friends we have met, the Anti-Corruption Network,
Anti-Counterfeit.
Anti-Counterfeit.
Yes.
Anti-Counterfeit Network.
Yes.
So we do the social protection of the community to ensure that they achieve the social justice in the community.
Social justice.
Yeah.
As a development officer, I am sure you work with the Sustainable Development Goals. Do we have a sustainable development goal that targets fighting counterfeits?
We are looking at the Millennium Goals, which are steering development, much as there's one for aiming at zero hunger in our country, but
do we have one on counterfeits?
No.
We don't have.
We don't have one.
But don't counterfeits affect the hunger question in terms of impacting negatively our food security and food sovereignty?
It does a lot. Because as farmers, they aim at buying products to steer the development, to have the food in the home, but they end up losing.
Because of the counterfeits.
Because of the counterfeits.
So why don't we have counterfeits as a senior development officer, community development officer? Have you included this on the agenda? Why don't you include it? Counterfeits.
In fact, we're looking at the Uganda Bureau of Standards to be doing a lot, but I think it does much of the, I don't know how I can bring it.
They do the sensitization, the enforcement.
They do a lot of the sensitization, but we do appreciate the program you've come in, and really we appreciate that maybe if you had an office within our region, I think it can do much.
If you give us space in Sironko Town Council, we can open an office, definitely.
Yeah, we can.
Because we want the gospel against counterfeits to reach every part.
Yeah, we do. Because at least as much as the Uganda standards can do the regulations, we know you can come on board and fight these counterfeits.
You said you're dealing with mobilization and sensitization of the community for development. Do you mobilize the community against counterfeits and fake agro inputs?
We do mobilization and sensitization, and in that process we create awareness. You know, knowledge is power. When people are aware of what is real on the market, if they're able to differentiate and know what is real on the market by creating awareness, I think a lot can be done through that. And we shall come and we have all the products when they are okay.
You're talking about awareness about counterfeits, but let's first interrogate this, because this is a study. We're trying to find out knowledge about the subject of counterfeits, about intellectual property. Do you, as Kayinza Caroline, understand what a counterfeit is and what intellectual property is?
Yeah, I do, because I've also been a victim of the very counterfeits in our community.
So what is a counterfeit according to you?
A counterfeit,
is it something which is cheap? Is it? What are the characteristics according to you?
The counterfeits. You know, those people are very smart. They're very smart. It's very difficult to differentiate them unless if you look at the branding. That's when you can tell that something is wrong. Or sometimes you can go to the extent of opening and using it. That's when you can tell that these are counterfeits. Because in most cases, some go to the extent of even using the original, like the bottle. They use the original bottle, remove the products, or the products which are there are finished. So they tend to put in the wrong the wrong products to show that
and cheat the farmer.
And cheat the farmer. You know, the amazing part of it, it is not such amazing, but you know, when I interacted with the veterinary officers, they were telling me that there is this tetracycline they use for treating animals. But now
tetracycline is for the eyes, is it?
They told me that it is called tetracycline for the animals, but it looks like beer. So beer is more cheaper compared to the very drug they use. So they tend to use the beer to treat the animal in the name of
they make the animal drink the beer, or they
through treatment, the counterfeit, they use the bottle as an injection. So they use after finishing the real medicine for it, they pour in the beer because it is the same thing. It is the same thing. Yeah.
This is something you have encountered.
Yeah, I've interacted with them because they're telling me even the ones for the fertilizer, they even use the powder for soya powder.
They crush soya bean, get powder, and make fertilizer.
And make fertilizers. So when you're carrying, they put in the very container meant for the original product. But when you use it in actual sense, you find when the products are wrong.
So are you suggesting that there is a lack of knowledge about counterfeits by those selling, those buying, those monitoring and regulating? Is there a problem of knowledge, lack of knowledge?
Yeah, knowledge, you know, knowledge is power.
But is there a lack of it?
Yeah, there's a lack of knowledge. More especially on the buyers. Because what I know, the sellers know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. But you know, in particular, you're looking for that product. Yeah? Like we say, maybe Renzol is the best water. And now people go looking for Renzori. So people get even run off water and even inject in a Renzori bottle. So when you look at the Renzori bottle, you'll be happy knowing you're taking Renzori, yet it is another water.
So as a community development officer, can you tell the viewers here in Bugisu sub-region, where are these counterfeit agro inputs? Where are they sourced from? Who is selling them? Do you know?
No, actually, I don't know the supplier, but there are very many mushrooming around. But at least if we had, if the anti-counterfeit network can bring some people on board, like the Uganda Drug Authority, to be moving in those agro input shops, maybe they can do something. So
is the source of the fake agro inputs, is it the manufacturer, is it the wholesaler, is it the retailer, is it the vans which are moving in town for some of these companies selling? What do you see? Where is the source of this Is it from the factory, from the shop, from the van, from the truck?
I think it is from the wholesalers, because maybe and
From
even
the wholesalers?
possibly from the, but even the manufacturers, I don't think they're safe. Where do they get them if they're not getting them from the wholesalers? Because now, like, you know, there are some cosmetics which they say they should be on market, but when you go to the supermarket and ask for them, they'll be hiding them within the supermarket, meaning they're still on market. So there's really need for research to know where these people are coming from.
For the agriculture inputs in Mbale here, do you have companies which are manufacturing from Mbale here, or the products are coming from outside Mbale, from Kampala, from Kenya to Mbale? Do you have factories here?
No, we don't have. That's why even people get to tint the maize. They just color the maize because people look for the certain type of maize, like the long ten, like the bazooka, so they know they're in a certain color. So people get even colors to tint them and supply to people.
They get a color which is used by a genuine manufacturer,
yes,
of the maize seed. If it is color red, they also put color
red, but
and then they sell.
They sell at a cheaper, affordable price to attract customers.
To attract the
customers, yeah.
But now, for you as a community development officer, when you encounter your people, the community, suffering from, first of all, maybe tell us, what is the effect of these fakes? Maybe they are okay, maybe they work. Do you have stories of, do you know what is happening? People, what are the dangers this is causing? Okay.
These counterfeit commodities, if I can say, they have a very big side effect. One, health-wise, when we keep on taking these chemicals, we have a side effect, like you're seeing the cancer. I think the Cancer Institute is full of people, maybe because of these very fake products on market. The chemicals we are smearing our skin is due to that very counterfeit. Then the
what
gardens,
about the food production?
The food production.
Are people losing their crop?
They are really
the harvest
losing.
Coming out?
Of course, that's where I was heading to. The harvests are now too low compared to what people have put in, because now you find a kilo, like of bazooka, is at 12.
What
between
is bazooka?
12, the type of maize. The bazooka is a type of maize.
Bazooka
like
is a gun. You know that.
It is a gun.
A bazooka.
Yeah, you know, so in the first place, that bazooka was very good, because like just even in 1 acre you can get like 10 bags. But now, because of these counterfeits,
so it's no longer a bazooka, because the bazooka, the gun is very effective. So they had better change the name.
So they better change the name, and the long 10 is no longer the long 10. So it affects the yields compared to what people are putting. The fertilizer, people are putting a lot of fertilizer, but they are selling them just the soya powder. Then which
is not the fertilizer.
Yeah, it's not the fertilizer.
Are you aware that there is a law against counterfeiting? Do you know that it's a crime as a community leader?
I know it is a crime, but
you know it is a crime.
Yeah, it is wrong.
So can you tell us, is this crime reported here to the authorities, to the police, to the courts?
Yeah, sometimes it is not reported because you cannot do much. Because sometimes the very people who are selling the very counterfeits, they have a bigger say to the police.
They have money?
They have money. They can bribe in. Because we had a scenario where in Sironko we were supplied with the rejects of the birds to the people. And now it was during COVID time.
Chicken.
People invested in a lot of money. But at the end of the day,
fake birds, young ones, or meat?
No, the young ones.
And they were fake?
They were fake. So when I tried to intervene, they could not grow. So
they were eating but not growing?
Yeah, they don't grow.
How is that possible?
So they are called rejects.
If rejects were coming from where?
In the very factory.
Which one?
I cannot tell the very factory where they were.
In Mbale, in Uganda, from Kenya?
Those people claim to be coming from even the State House. So they supplied to people, but they even failed to grow.
So the bud ate for 3 months and it was the same size?
It was just stunted. They had stunted growth. And now people, compared to the feeds which they put in,
so people lost?
They lost.
And they couldn't sell the buds?
They could not sell the buds. And if selling them at a cheaper price, you've kept them like for 5 months, you're selling it at 5,000, they started hawking the buds.
They have eaten food of 500,000?
Oh, 500,000.
So big loss.
A very big loss to the community.
Madam Kayinza, we need to take a break and continue our conversation on the knowledge, attitudes and practices of counterfeiting of agro inputs in agriculture in the Bugisu sub-region. Welcome back to the second segment of this discussion, which is part of a baseline study, a knowledge, attitudes and practices study on the use of counterfeits in the agriculture sector. We are in Mbale Resort, Bugisu sub-region. We're grateful to our partners, USAID, that have supported this project that we are doing here. So on the show, we are investigating the extent and how deep-rooted this problem is. Here we have Madam Kayinza Caroline. Caroline, you are not only a community development officer, but you are also a mother. And one of the things that you said are the key deliverables that you do as a development officer is gender, you called it gender mainstreaming and social protection. Before we go into that deeply, as a farmer, first of all, what are you involved in? What crops do you grow as a farmer?
As a farmer, I grow maize, I grow beans, I grow groundnuts and banana.
And bananas. So you must be having like 100 acres where you grow all these things. You are a commercial farmer, or how big is your farming? I can imagine
it is around altogether like 10 acres.
10 acres. That's a fair size.
Yeah.
Is there a counterfeiting problem with any of these crops that you are growing, and in what form does it present?
Okay.
Start from the seeds to up to the market,
up to the
harvest.
Market, up to the harvest. Yeah, like matoke. For us, the matoke we grow in Bugisu are different from maybe the matoke in Western or the improved, because they say the NADS matoke. So when you grow the improved matoke, the NADS matoke, the taste is different from the one of Bugisu.
The taste is different, but matoke is, if you like matoke, is tasteless. It has no taste.
No.
It's not like sweet potatoes, for example. So what do you mean the taste?
It is you only who does not tell the
flavor.
taste. No, the flavor is in the ripes.
In the ripes?
In the ripes.
So the matoke you cook, the taste is different?
The taste is different.
The improved one and the Bugisu one, the traditional?
And the Bugisu one is different. Because now, like the ripes, there's the aroma. There's an aroma in that.
Which one has better aroma?
The one of the Bugisu.
The natural one?
The natural one. It has the natural aroma and the taste for the matoke. So even if you went to the open market, the one for the Bugisu, not the improved one, the price is a bit higher.
So are there counterfeits in matoke?
Of course, now when they tell you, like in the ripes, they tell you it is the original one. Yeah? So when you plant, you'll plant, you'll maintain it, but at the end of the day, the price it gives you, it is even low.
So price is low. But
the price is low. Then
but you're saying that the counterfeit, okay, that is the crop itself. What about the inputs you use? Do you face challenges with the chemicals or anything, the sprays?
The spray is not in the matoke. It is in the...
There are no pests for matoke?
They are there, but not as such. Because those ones, at least we manage them at that level.
With some chemical?
No.
With the natural
We'll
methods?
just remove them. Because if you see that this one is damaged, you remove it. And maybe you dry it and get it back. Then you make a hole for another one. So the counterfeits, so much we get it in the maize.
Maize. That's why
In the
Kenya
maize.
rejected your maize.
Yeah,
Were you one of the
possibly.
suppliers of the fake maize to Kenya?
Not really.
Yours wasn't
Not
fake?
No, mine wasn't fake. Because at least, though I've ever been a victim of the counterfeits, but at least not to that extent of other farmers who are not knowledgeable.
Tell us about the fake maize, because for us in Kampala we are hearing maize was rejected, and your hands-on experience with that fake maize which was rejected by Kenya. Where did it go, by the way? You will also tell us. What's your experience?
So my experience with the maize, in the first place, like I mentioned, one type of the maize in my first communication was the bazooka. So like you put it...
Bazooka and long 10, is it?
And the long 10.
Those
So
are two types of maize.
Those are the two types. So in the first place, when they were just coming in, you could plant like on a small scale, and you put in the fertilizer, which was okay, if they have not also duplicated it, and at the end of the day, the products you could get, they're very good. But now of recent, when you plant and you get the counterfeit seeds, you get the counterfeit seeds, you're getting the counterfeit fertilizers, at the end of the day, the yields are going to be too low. So that's why even
the yields may be low, but when the maize is genuine. You're saying the maize is also fake.
Yeah,
when
the seeds.
The fake seeds produce fake maize.
Yeah. Garbage in, garbage out. So at the end of the day, it is even making people run away from the food production. Yet it is very key.
So you're saying there is a practice now of people running away from maize growing because of the fakes.
Because of the fakes.
So aren't we going to go hungry?
That's why you're here. That's why you're there. So we are hoping to see the best.
There was a report a few months ago about fake agriculture products, vegetables and so on. And in that report, somebody in the Ministry of Agriculture was saying the problem is that the farmers do not know how to use the agricultural chemicals and inputs. That's why we are getting fakes. So to what extent is the lack of knowledge by the farmers in how to use the chemicals or pesticides affecting the quality of the maize and the guineas?
The lack of knowledge, I can say it can be to the bigger extent because those people who are operating the agro input shops are not trained.
I'm talking about the farmers.
The farmers.
That for them, they don't follow instructions. They will go and spray. For example, they put a knapsack here, go and spray. Maybe there is even a child, no protection. They harm themselves. And then they spray the wrong number of times on the crop. So they end up harvesting a poisoned crop, and then they put it on the market. These farmers of yours, do they even know how to use this equipment and the chemicals?
They know.
From what you've seen?
Some
are they trained?
They're not trained, but they train on job. Because nowadays this powder, they spray on the tomatoes so that they don't rot.
It's called mangozeb.
Mangozeb. So when they spray, sometimes even those consumers who go in the market, they look for those tomatoes
which are sprayed,
not knowing that they are going to have a healthy challenge. So what I'm saying, there is really need to create the awareness and the building the capacity of our leaders.
But from the grassroots, from the farmers, up to the top.
Up to the top. We really need the capacity building.
You talked about social protection, which for me would speak to the justice system. Do you feel that the law and the justice, law and order sector is doing enough to give protection to consumers and other stakeholders from counterfeits, or is the justice, law and order sector like protecting or maintaining the status quo of counterfeiting?
No, they are not doing as such much.
They are not doing enough.
They are not doing enough. Because at least if we had the strict laws, if we at least we could get those people, the victims, arrested, they should not be on the increase like this. Because now they are saying, "Mwena mugagawale." So people are looking for survival. And now,
get rich, all of you.
Regardless of the means they are using. That's why maybe there is increase in those counterfeits. But there is no strict law. Strict
enforcement
policies.
is a challenge.
Enforcement.
Who do you think is not doing their work most? Is it the police, the judiciary, the courts, or the prisons? Who should be doing more of their work?
It is not one individual job. It should be the general public, the key stakeholders. Because now when we cannot blame the court because police is not working, and we cannot blame the police if the very victims are not also reporting the very cases. So meaning it should be a joint effort.
So the whole ecosystem,
yeah.
Whereas you'll blame the police, but then even the complainants will take a case there and abandon the exhibits and the case.
Yeah.
They don't even come to court to follow up, to give evidence. Yeah. We have cases where they don't give evidence and the case gets dismissed.
And sometimes even complain from behind because you're not informing the very key stakeholders that there is a challenge or a shop for the counterfeits. So police cannot do much, court cannot do much, because now we also, there's chain of command where we must follow the procedure. And it is going to start from maybe the farmer who is affected and reports. And those people keep on reporting till they reach the what? The court. But sometimes they think those courts or the police will be compromised.
So there is a perception problem by the community.
By the community.
Their attitude is that the system maybe doesn't work, and therefore they sit back.
They sit back.
So we're going to take a break and we shall come back and discuss counterfeits from the perspective of the community to see how are they contributing to the issue of counterfeiting. This is the third and last segment of our conversation here with Caroline Kayinza, a Community Development Officer, Sironko Town Council. We're discussing as part of the baseline study on counterfeits. Now, Carol, as a mother, you must have a lot of confrontations now and in the past with counterfeits. We've had many mothers like you come on this platform and they have considered that they intentionally or unintentionally promote the purchase of counterfeits because many of them are in charge of, the man will provide the money, but it's the mothers who actually go and buy in the markets and so on. Do you agree with that assessment that women, mothers, pushing these counterfeit products to enter our homes in line with your gender streaming objective in your workplace?
We are not as such promoting, but sometimes we purchase and bring them in the homestead because, like you're saying, you've left very many responsibilities for us.
Who
the gentlemen.
The men are not doing their work. They are working so hard to look after their families.
Yeah,
what are you saying they are not?
But now we do a lot of purchasing, like the requirement of the children at school, where the one that load is on us to go and purchase what they need. When these children fall sick, we are the one who carries them to the hospital, or sometimes we do even the self-medication.
But still you go to a pharmacy and make the decision to buy this drug and not that drug.
No, we are looking at the situation where the child falls sick and you have something. You have something in the house, or you go to the pharmacy because you've heard from the neighbor who used it, and you carry it and you treat your child without knowing the source of the drug. Yeah? So sometimes we even want these chemicals which makes us look nice and we carry them.
You want to look more beautiful than
Want to
God
look-
made you. Why?
No,
What's
not
wrong
as
with women?
such, not as such, but you find that sometimes buying wrong chemicals, wrong Vaseline to the house.
And you're blaming the men for that.
The responsibilities.
The responsibility. You're
If
saying,
you could buy, we could not buy them. Yeah? If you go for us the right
here
ones.
on the League of the Genuine, we have identified several drivers of counterfeits.
Okay.
We have put them under the acronym of Dankani.
Okay.
And I would like you to comment on all or any of those drivers.
Okay.
But you start with affordability.
Affordability.
Because I think women in Uganda are the champions in bargaining. They will go and bargain to and get it on the cheap. So how is affordability pushing counterfeits? Your experience?
It is becoming a challenge in that people are not able to differentiate which one is which. Because now sometimes they just run these adverts without showing us what is the original one like. Do we look at the branding or it is something else? So differentiating those items is a very big
You mean
challenge.
differentiating as in the packaging, as in the name? If a product is called Omo, they have differentiated for you, this is Omo. So what is the issue?
We need to have knowledge. Now if it is Omo, do you look at is there any stamp
Any
or
sign or
any
any
sign to show that the genuine one is like this one? Do you have a certificate of operation? So at least we need to create awareness so that people are able to differentiate.
Who should create that awareness? Is it the brand, the consumer, the government? Who do you think should help us in differentiating?
It is in conjunction with the government, because there is no way you can put a government outside.
The government should ask the brands also.
The brands.
The manufacturer.
Yes, to also,
Okay.
yeah, so that there is awareness. Then, like you're saying, the affordability. You know, women, we do bargain because we have a lot of responsibilities. We at least want to remain with a balance so that we do other things, making us compromise the
On
genuine
quality.
on quality. So sometimes we look at the quantity and we forget the quality. So people want to buy something because those counterfeits, they make sure that they're a bit cheaper so that they can be affordable.
And then because the women like, most of them like the cheap things, they get them.
We don't,
So you think this could be the biggest reason why we are buying a lot of counterfeit? Do you see any of the other reasons as a major driver for counterfeiting?
no, it's not as such a big drive, but because they're on market, they've left them operate on market. So you go thinking maybe we take it, maybe so and so is a bit expensive, not knowing that we're compromising our health or we are compromising the product.
The product itself. You are
Itself.
saying that they have left them to operate on the market. Are
On
you
market.
suggesting that somebody is negligent? Because negligence is also there in Dankani.
Yeah.
Who is negligent? Who is not doing their job, which is causing the counterfeits to flood the market?
I cannot blame like the Uganda Bureau of Standards, because now for them they regulate the prices, but
And the
now I do and the standards, yeah. So
Who do you blame? Who is negligent here in Dankani there? Who do you think is negligent? The consumer,
the consumer,
the housewife?
the consumer,
The consumer takes a big blame.
yeah, the consumer, they bit negligent, because now for them they are thinking those things have been there, yeah. So they sometimes we can push it to it, taking it as normal, though it is in Dankani. They take it, it is normal. You've been using it, and even the grandparents have been using it.
So normalcy, you're saying it's normal, it is what
normal.
we do every day, so the consumer is embracing it as normal,
As normal.
and allowing it to thrive.
Yeah.
But don't you think that the failure to cooperate between this government agency and this agency, they are not coordinated? Don't you think there is no effective cooperation? Isn't that a big factor?
It is a very big deal. Because,
UNBS is not working with customs. Police is not working with the court.
With the court.
Court is not working.
Yeah. Even with the local authorities, because at least those people, if they can work in conjunction, they can come together, leave their differences outside, and they come together and they work as a team. Because together we can. Because as you fight this one, or like in a home, when you're disciplining a child, the mother comes in, the father comes in, you find that at least you put that child in a normal position than saying, no, let me run to mommy, let me run to daddy for custody. So at least if we can come up with the strong policies, enforce the
And
strong laws and cooperation, we shall make together, we can fight these counterfeits.
You are speaking about some of the products from NADS and the Operation Wealth Creation, how they are not good. You think it's also because there isn't enough cooperation? Because Operation Wealth Creation should be talking to the experts in agriculture to see if these seeds are okay or whatever before bringing them to Bugisu.
Yeah, I do appreciate government has done a lot, especially on the side of Operation Wealth Creation, because I know the aim was to have the food security. But on the side of the timing, when they bring in the products, they bring at the wrong season. Because now, like, we have the onset of the rains.
Like which seedlings are those?
Which seedlings? Even the very maize and beans that are supplied at the wrong season. The coffee trees.
You mean the people in government don't know the planting season? Why do they bring in the dry season?
They don't work in consultation with the farmers. They have served in consecutive years, but the timing at which they bring those products, they bring like in September, when you are going to expect a dry spell, and they know they are going to die out. And the next year they will do the same. So when you really go on ground, you see there is no big impact.
So there is no cooperation there. It is not.
Yeah.
But can you talk about the dangers? Do we understand as consumers, as regulators, as government, do we understand the concealed dangers of counterfeiting?
Like
you think we do understand?
Like you have said, it is already concealed. So the dangers involved in those counterfeit commodities is already concealed. People don't tell people, they don't tell the public the dangers involved. But it has a very big side effect on our lives, on our livestock, and even the community, the economy at large.
The dangers are always concealed.
They are concealed. They are caring about today, but they are not catering of what is going to happen tomorrow, the side effect, because some of them have a long-term effect. We are not seeing it today, but the effect is going to be there tomorrow.
The concealed dangers.
Yeah.
But again, some people blame modernization to be a driver for this counterfeiting. Modernization in terms of some young lady in Sironko town watching you today will see your hairstyle. I also want to be like Carol. Will see that necklace with Africa and a nice suit. To what extent is aspiration driving us into counterfeits? To aspire to be, you know, they say what these days, to be .com or to have a swag. How is that responsible? Especially because our population is mainly youthful, and so a lot of these youths are gallowing into counterfeits. How is aspiration a factor?
Yeah, it is a very big factor in such a way that people want to copy, to imitate what they cannot manage. Like on the side of agriculture, let me say, you're moving and you've maybe gone for a tour in Western and you've seen some products like the pineapples, because now for us like in Sironko, the pineapples don't do well. Because now they're working in Kamuli, you want to carry the pineapples from Kamuli and you want the people of Sironko to also grow them. Because now so-and-so has grown them and is doing very well and is a supplier. So you want also to copy and make sure that you also bring them. So what I see, at least you need to know, to find out what is really good for you.
So our aspiration should be guided. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, it should be
You're telling
guided.
the young lady seeing you now that don't just copy what I'm doing and go for any fake. Try to look for the genuine, legitimate supply.
Yeah. You want to look at the role models, but you don't know why they're doing it, why they're dressing that, why they're dressing like that. It is depends on where maybe they are and what they're going to do.
So basically, a lot of the community leaders are ending up being role models for counterfeits. That's what you're saying. Instead of genuine, they are ending up promoting more of the purchase and use of counterfeits.
No, what I mean, people should deal in something where they have expertise in it, not just copying. So if you're inspired with something, get inspired with something which is good and you know it can work for you. If you've liked the product or the commodity, make sure that you find out, analyze, is it going to work for you?
Or not.
Is it or not? Is it best for that area or not before you go in?
In your experience as a community leader, do you think that technology can help us to fight counterfeits? Have you seen any systems brought here, maybe on the products, scratching and so on? Is technology important?
It is.
It can help to trace, to find the fake and help the consumer to buy genuine?
It can.
You have some experience on that?
Not as such, but what I know in technology, like in communication, if we can use all the modes of communication, it can help us and put an end to those counterfeits. Because now if we can have the radio talk shows, the social media, we can have even the songs about the...
We're going to have a song competition
yeah,
in this campaign. Yes.
Yeah, in that campaign. So at least the social media, we shall put an end to those counterfeits.
Before we end, I'm told time is up.
Okay.
You've heard of this coffee deal, the Vinci, the Italian, to sell all Ugandan coffee. Bugisu is well known for fine Arabica coffee. Well, what's your comment as somebody from Bugisu sub-region? The coffee deal, do you have issues with it? Does it affect or is for those people in Kampala?
So when you talk of coffee, coffee is a major commodity, cash crop in the Bugisu region. So that's why we have even the Bugisu Cooperative Union. It is because of that coffee. So we have a very big interest in that coffee. But it is not only the counterfeits, is not only in those products, but sometimes it is in the people. Where, when I was talking of the gender mainstreaming, the coffee is, the work in the garden is mainly done by the ladies.
The women do the growing of the coffee.
The growing of the coffee. But when it reaches the time for marketing, it is the coffee, it is for men.
Men market, sell and get the money.
They get the money. The money belongs to men.
Hey.
Even the coffee gardens, it is owned by men. So the ladies only do the working, but men...
And you're saying that is
the production.
Fake. So are you
the
saying
counterfeits in the people?
The VC coffee deal is not going to sort out, it's not going to help the women in the Bugisu region who has...
So we are praying very hard that it caters for all.
Caters for the woman who is growing.
Yeah, who is
we are
growing.
told time is up. Your message to the viewers about counterfeits, what's your message? How should people treat and look at counterfeits in agriculture and other things?
Yeah, thank you very much, viewers. How I look at it is people should be aware and know and be able to differentiate how those counterfeit products look like, because they have a long-term effect on our health. So we should not compromise the sellers because they are our friends. We should always bring them to book. We should report to the authorities so that we put an end, and it will enhance our development and achieve the justice of having that we have a free nation where we have no counterfeits. Thank you very much for watching.
Powerful message there. That was Caroline Kayinza, a senior community development officer, Sironko district. We're right out of Mbale City here. We have been having a discussion with her. We shall be programming from here for the next episodes as part of the baseline study on counterfeits in agro inputs in Bugisu sub-region. As always, we would like to thank the community of viewers who have followed us up to this stage. Thank you for sharing, for putting the reminders, and for watching us, making a date with us every Friday. We would like to sign off by asking you not to be fake, to always buy and sell genuine.